Welcome everyone. Is there a request to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Joyce?
Yes, 7A.
Thank you for playing the Shane role. Danny?
Also 7A.
Okay. Joan?
I'll also play Shane, 7A and 7B.
Okay.
I don't
Wow.
have anything.
And I don't either. Could I have a motion then to approve the order of items of the regular consent agendas, please?
Moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I'm not the president, but I'm the vice president, and I just wanted to say two thank yous. I wasn't here obviously at the December meeting, but first off, I wanted three thank yous. I wanted to thank you all for your lovely cards and sentiments, and my knee is vastly improved, and I'm delighted about that. But I also wanted to pay our great thanks to you for 2 years of leadership. You did a wonderful job. You were thoughtful and you had great remarks and you had great ideas, and I'm just so grateful that you were the president for those 2 years. So thank you for doing that. Yes. And I also congratulate Shane. I think that he will do a great job, and I'm sure that we'll hear a lot of 7As and 7Bs in his leadership. And he's also, as you know, when we get down to the discussion of trustee committees, he's put his thoughts to work, and I think he did a good job for that. So, but other than that, Happy New Year. I know it's now past the midway point, but there's so many Christmas lights still on, so I guess I can say that. So thank you again for all of your kind words. And I'm going to turn this over to the director's verbal report. Oh my gosh, thank you.
First, I'm gonna pick up your coat, 'cause
Thank
it fell
you.
on the floor,
I appreciate that.
and I don't think I could look at it home. Well, I want to say Happy New Year, Happy 2025, and congratulate you all one more time on winning the election and being the Library Board of Trustees. I'm so grateful to have such a wonderful group of people to run this library with, so congratulations on that. Welcome to the new officers as well, though one of them isn't here tonight. And I just want to thank Danny one more time too for her 2-year stint as president. You guided us through a successful millage vote. You spoke with passion to several groups about the importance of intellectual freedom at a time when it was really necessary. And you strongly supported administration and library staff and this group through all the ups and downs that we've had in the last 2 years. So thank you, Danny. Thank you.
Thank you. And her husband came in third place in the spelling bee.
That's
right.
So I remember that was a highlight for me.
It's on camera? Okay, good. He'll be so happy.
Yay.
And I'm glad you're with us for the next chapter.
Yep. Let's go.
All right, well, I have a lengthy update, a couple of lengthy updates. One is on our vending service. Let me give you a little recap. April 1st, 2023 was the start of a new contract that was awarded to Perfection Vending. You might recall that it got off to a little bit of a rocky start. We didn't have all of the machines that we were promised. Then there was a lengthy leave on the part of the president of the company. So it took about 6 months for us to get everything kind of settled down. Then for the next year, things went pretty okay. And then this fall, Jim Thomas, the owner of Perfection Vending, introduced us to a person he had hired and told us that he was he was retiring and transferring the bid or the contract to this new person. The person his name is Tafik. He had been working for Jim for a couple of months, so he was familiar to us, we were familiar to him. He had been servicing this route. It's very unusual for a company to transfer like that in the middle of a bid, at least for us. I had never been through something like that, but we didn't really have any other options. There was only one other company that bid at the time that we put out this RFP. And so Catherine and I have just kind of decided that, okay, we'll go with this new person, Tafik. So Jim Thomas of Perfection Vending has wrote a letter saying he was transferring all obligations to Tafik. The contract that we signed with Jim was still the valid contract, just now it is for a different company called Solomart. So Catherine and I have drafted some letters just to acknowledge all of this in writing. I ran it by Shane as library board president and also an attorney. He seemed to think it was all okay. And so that is what is going on with vending.
They're out there tonight.
They were, yeah, they're depleted because it's so busy right now.
What is the length of the contract?
It's got another year on it.
Okay.
So-
Another like April?
It's up April 1 of 2026, well, I guess March 31st of 2026. But
Okay.
we will be putting out the RFP this December
Mhm.
and awarding the bid in February.
Okay.
And we let Tafiq know that he is, of course, welcome to submit a proposal at that time
Sure.
if he wants to stay on the route. Our video surveillance system upgrade project kicked off last Monday, I guess, the 13th. And they've been making great progress. The company Flylock that was awarded the bid started by removing all the old cabling and installing new cabling. They have, where are they up to today? I know they were up to like the mid part of adult services as of yesterday.
Yep, and right outside the youth services entrance.
So they started in the north end of the building and they're working their way south and making great progress. As part of the setup of the system in order to get coverage on the parking lot, they had to put some antennas on the roof. It creates a wireless bridge that provides the data flow between the cameras and the server. So there are there are two antennas. It's not like a 1980s TV antenna. It's just a basically right satellite dish. It's just basically a metal pole on a tripod. There's one on the pod over my office and one over youth services. You can see the one that's over my office from the parking lot, but it's very inobtrusive. It looks very subtle. You really have to look for it in order to see it.
And was there any, did we find out if it was possible to extend cameras out to the employee parking area? There was some concern about the,
Trying to do a bigger sweep.
cameras not
it
reaching the employee.
towards the
parking.
dumpster.
Yeah, we were
area.
gonna see how
How
it looks
far?
once
Okay.
it gets, because I think the way it was represented on that map isn't quite a full representation, and there's probably going to be some coverage.
If they've got an antenna by your office, that would provide the sweep, maybe if that's the case. Cause that was the area that I was concerned about, was that it didn't appear to cover the donations entry area, the staff entry area, and the dumpster.
There is a camera in that vestibule, the receiving area. And then we will see how what the views look like in the parking lot.
Okay.
We felt that there were enough cameras nearby that will provide coverage of that area. Another aspect of this project is they have to run some cabling to get to the outdoor cameras. They have to run a cable out of the building, up over the cedar fascia, and then into a camera. But this is gonna take place on the, the west side of the building. It's right outside of material services, but it's right up against the chiller and all this other equipment, and there's pine trees there, so no one is going to see it.
Gotcha.
And they're gonna encase it in a metal conduit so it won't touch the cedar fascia, and if any boards need to be changed, they'll be accessible. So it's going right along.
How long do they think till completion?
Um,
Depending on the weather, of course.
Yeah, well, my deadline is finished and paid for by March 31st,
Gotcha.
and they say that they can meet that.
Okay.
You probably recall that we adopted a policy around video surveillance at the October board meeting, and part of that policy says that we would tell the public that we are employing video surveillance. So we are just gonna put this little sticker on the main entrance and at the staff entrance just to say we have video surveillance.
So watch out.
Mind your P's and Q's. All right, moving on to a new topic. Next week on Tuesday, there will be an all-staff meeting. Our consultant Katie Yee from MGT, who did the comp and class study, will address staff and tell them about the comp and class study and the findings therein. So we're looking forward to that. And then I just wanted to let you know that Monica is no longer with the library, which you know, and we have a contract accountant named Erin who has been working with us. She's from Plant Moran. She's great. I feel like I literally threw paper at her when she first came on her first day, and I was like, I don't know how to do what you're doing. And she's like, no problem, and she had it all done. So she's
probably the norm when that happens.
that's what she said.
Did
Yeah.
she?
She's
Oh,
very,
geez.
she's got a very calm,
Nice.
competent demeanor, and I just feel like everything's getting handled, so it's great.
That's good.
We do have 13 applications that were received for finance coordinators. Catherine and I are working on reviewing those at this time. And we'll be doing interviews in a couple weeks, and Judy said she would be part of those interviews as well, so. That's all I have to report.
Thank you, Tara, appreciate it. Could I have a motion to approve the remaining consent agenda items, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Thanks, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so this is our call to the public. Sir, you've been waiting patiently.
I'm just here observing,
Okay, well,
so I have
welcome.
nothing else to add at this time.
All right, thank you so much. And Laura, we're glad to see you.
Oh, hi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What news do you
guys.
have to give us
Oh,
from
gosh.
SOC?
I'm trying to remember when the timing would have been, but you might have heard about the staff sale that we had in the lounge. That went so well. Everyone loved it. It was
Oh,
so
good.
much fun. I loved getting to see everything that everyone was creating, and it gave the SOC a little bit of money as well to give back to our coworkers here. So all around, just great holiday cheer. It was awesome. Our next big project, in lieu of a party or anything, we're gonna do a nice big meal for everyone around Library Week. So we're just kind of gearing up for that. Oh, and I guess we can talk about how we are going to have our SOC election very soon. And so we're looking forward to having a full meeting with the new SOC to get them transitioned.
So will this be your last meeting shared
It
with us?
will.
Well, we
Oh,
thank you
that
for all
was
of
the
your
last
help
time.
and work, and
Yeah, of course.
you.
Thanks for
appreciate your
sharing
time being
Thanks.
here.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
absolutely.
but I think that's it.
And all of you SOC people have the most enthusiasm. My goodness, you come in here, and so that's a good thing. So
Well, great.
thank you.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it. Yes, and I heard the work looked beautiful. I think a lot of Christmas and holiday gifts and
That's great.
Hanukkah gifts and
So much fun
Kwanzaa
to
gifts were
shop,
all
yeah.
shopping, so perfect, thank you. We do not have any unfinished business, so let's go to new business. We're gonna be talking about the annual review of fee, and when that's over, there's an action on page 34 of your group, whatever this thing's called that's on our computer.
Packet.
Thank you, I knew there's a word. Okay, Tara, it's up to you again.
I already forgot what page you said.
34 will be
32.
the action, but it starts on 32.
Yeah. All right, well, we used to call this the fines and fees schedule, but since we have eliminated fines, I felt we better eliminate it from the title of this document. So it's the fee schedule for 2025. And every year we go through a very thorough review of this document in our managers meeting. I mean, every word, period, everything is studied. I thought for half a minute that maybe the board doesn't even need to review this. I think at one time it was part of the budget preparation because fines and fees were a significant part of our budget, which now it's a very, very tiny part of our budget. But I think it bears your review because it is some things that we're asking our residents to pay for when it comes to library service, which most of what we offer is free, so this is kind of an unusual thing. So therefore, here it is before you. The changes that are being proposed are pretty minimal. Mostly a lot of text changes to kind of clarify things, streamline it a little bit. The biggest change, I'm not going to go through it point by point because you've read your packet, so you know what's there. The biggest change being proposed is to remove the table of downloadables and streaming services. I think that when we started having these electronic resources, we added them to this table because a person's record gets blocked when they have so many fines and then they are not able to use these things. And it was just another format is how we saw it. But as we have more and more services, it just becomes very complicated trying to capture all the nuances of all these streaming platforms and downloadable platforms. And really, this is not the place where a patron is going to go to find out the nuances of this. They're gonna go to our website or they're gonna ask a staff person about it. So we just decided that it had no place in this schedule any longer. Like I said, most everything else is small, minor text changes. We do continue to use a collection agency to collect unpaid bills and long overdue materials. And I included some numbers of how much has been collected this year and overall from the start of the time that we started using UMS. It still is beneficial to us, so we'll continue to use that and we'll reevaluate it as the years go on. The circulation use fee, I am not proposing any changes to that. The purpose of that is to make sure that Bloomfield Township residents have priority service when it comes to circulating items. And 93% of the library materials that are borrowed by Bloomfield Township residents, so we feel that that's a good ratio. And then meeting room fees, I'm not proposing any changes there either. This continues to be a really nice, reasonable, affordable rate for folks to rent a room. We still haven't returned our meeting room use to pre-pandemic times numbers, but we're getting there. We're within about 50, so
Good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're keeping them flat.
We raised them, what, about 2 or 3 years ago?
Oh,
Is
I
it more
think
than
they've
that?
been the same since I've
Has it?
worked
Okay.
here, yeah. So that's my quick overview. I'm happy to answer any questions, and if you don't have any, there's an action on page 34.
And I know I'm gonna have Danny read that action because she hasn't read an action in 2 years.
I have a
But we
couple
have a
of
question?
questions,
Yeah,
sure.
if that's okay. On the beginning of the, what was it, the beginning of the fees? The interlibrary loan on Melcat. I'm just curious that the 50 items from BTL to BTL, what, is 50, does anyone get up to 50? No, I didn't think so. I mean, we're lending through Melcat, a couple here and there, and we're borrowing. Okay. One person is not borrowing 50, no, okay.
Where are you seeing this? I'm.
You have to get
Oh,
past that.
further down.
Page 36 is part of the schedule. If you go to page 36.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, I knew I had seen it someplace, but okay, thank you.
And then, I should know this, but what is the difference between Melcat and interlibrary loan?
Melcat's coming from within the state of Michigan. So it's that online resource where you can go in and you can request it
Yeah.
yourself. Interlibrary loan means it's not available in Melcat and a librarian has to place a request for you, and we're getting it through OCLC.
Oh, it's probably outside the state.
And it's outside of, yeah.
Okay.
We rarely use that anymore because Melcat is so plentiful and good at filling requests, yeah.
Okay.
And fast, it's pretty fast.
Okay. All right, those are my questions.
Any other questions? No? Danny, you have the floor.
All right, I move to approve the fiscal year 25-26 fee schedule as presented with implementation to begin on April 1, 2025.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that group working on that. The next in our new business is library design services, and we're gonna start with Catherine, and then Catherine's gonna turn it over to Tara.
All right, thank you, Judy.
You're welcome. And it starts on page 57, sorry, and there'll be
No.
an action on 58-ish. You'll know about the ish in a second.
What a lead-in. So back in October, we released a request for proposals for our space planning and design services. This was in response to the pre-design and research report that Jenna Walker created for us back in 2023?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, getting my dates right. So we released that RFP and posted it onto BidNet, which was the second RFP we put there. I had another minor heart attack when 65 companies downloaded that RFP from BidNet. We did have a great showing of representatives from 14 of those 65 firms at our mandatory walkthrough, which was held about a month after the bid was released. And the bid deadline was, the proposal deadline was December 5th, and we received 7 proposals from the 14 companies that attended the walkthrough. So Tara and I very carefully combed through these 7 proposals. They are stacked right there if you are interested in looking through any of them. They are all quite lengthy and detailed, and a lot of care and thought was put into creating each one with the library's specific needs in mind. I will say it was quite difficult to narrow them down. You'll see the analysis sheet in your board packet. I'd say all 7 of the companies met qualifications to do a library design and space planning project, hands down. We really honed in on public library experience with this library in particular, and experience with other Metro Detroit libraries. With those criteria in mind, we narrowed our selection of 7 down to 3, MCD, AECOM, and C2AE. We asked those 3 to interview with us in early January. And then we invited members of the library's Inclusive Spaces Committee to review those 3 proposals to provide their feedback and help generate interview questions. Tara also invited you, the Board of Trustees, to join those interviews, and Joy Murray kindly accepted and also reviewed all the proposals. From the Inclusive Spaces Committee, the co-chairs Brooke Hoskins and Lauren Catoni Ellis also joined us for an interview panel of 5. We completed those interviews, and we were, again, really just struck by the fact that any one of these 3 companies that we spoke with would do a fabulous job with the library. Jenna Walker, of course, created that pre-design report. She partnered with C2AE as a subcontractor, and in their interview, they really showed that they knew what this library was looking for inside and out. They demonstrated great knowledge of interior design, health and environmental concerns, and spoke extensively about using furniture, fixtures, and equipment as the primary tool for creating this redesign of our underutilized spaces. AECOM's team was led by Geraldine Drake, who had worked with the library previously on the Commons and several other successful projects. They also shared their passion for healthy spaces and again showed a great understanding of the process that the library likes to use, collaboration and communication. When we wrote this memo and the recommendation last week, we were working with the information that we had at that time, and we were recommending AECOM. But we've had some new information that Tara's gonna share with you.
Thanks, Catherine. Tara?
So this afternoon, I got an email, it was addressed to Catherine and I, from Geraldine Drake and her colleague Katie, who came to the interview. And it said that we post our board packet to our website, so it is public before the meeting happens, which Geraldine would have known because she worked with us before. So they saw the packet and that they were being recommended to be the company awarded this bid. And so, they said that they saw that, and they said that they wanted to tell us that Geraldine Drake will be retiring at some point during the course of this project. To me, for both Catherine and I, that really changes everything because I wanted to work with Geraldine, not necessarily AECom. It's like my hairdresser. I followed her to 6 different salons because I wanted to work with her and not this one.
Well, she's who has the experience here.
Yeah.
Right.
And Geraldine has this singular quality of being able to gather great information, make everybody feel part of the process. She just is really great at that, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to work with her. Knowing that Geraldine is not going to be part of this team, I should say that in the email, it was stated that Geraldine would, let me read it to you so I can get it right. Geraldine has informed we would like to. Geraldine is committed to personally overseeing a strong project start, integration of team members, and team alignment around our proposed process. So it sounds like Geraldine would kind of be present for the kickoff and then turn us over to a team who we have not met. And we specifically had interviews, and as Catherine says, these are basically going to be coworkers for the length of this project. We'll work very closely with them, and being able to work with somebody is a really important part. So therefore, as Catherine said, the 3 companies we interviewed all were eminently qualified and would do a great job. Jenna, who is part of the C2AE team as a subcontractor, it was very clear that she really wants this job. She did a great job with the pre-design and research report. I also would love to work with her. It wasn't that I dislike Jenna or don't want to work with Jenna. I just really had looked forward to working more with Geraldine. So in light of all this, we would like to change our recommendation to C2AE instead of AECom.
Okay, I need to understand then the difference or why there is such a tremendous difference in their cost
And their price.
Their pricing.
It's not clear from the proposals because C2AE proposes essentially the same process. So I'm not sure, that was another one of the reasons we went with AECom, because they were providing pretty much the same process for the same price. Do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I couldn't say for sure. There is no substantial difference in the process, the length of time, or the expertise of the people involved. But AECom is an international firm with multi-million, if not multi-billion-dollar projects, bridges, skyscrapers, things like that. I feel C2AE, while a robust firm, is about 5 offices in, I believe, Michigan and New York. And so perhaps just scale of economy.
I think the other thing that might be helpful is that the third firm that we were looking at gave a very different estimation of costs that was quite a bit higher, that actually would put C2AE right in the middle. And so sometimes I think that's important to know, because you don't necessarily want to pick the least expensive. You don't obviously want to pick the most expensive unless you have extenuating circumstances that give you reason or pause to do either way. But I concur with what Catherine is saying. C2AE is more of a local presence. AECom is massively global, and Geraldine was the connection. Whereas C2AE, I believe, is in Farmington Hills.
Yeah.
So they're very close. They're in our backyard. They're partnering specifically with Jenna to provide comprehensive services to somebody that's familiar with the library. And honestly, that was really the two that came down to the discussion. And price is part of it, but price is also part of the overall, if you look at it from that perspective, overall bidding process they're really in between.
Additionally, in the capital improvements plan, I had put a placeholder amount of $500,000, so the $400,000 price tag for C2A would be within that budget.
Other questions?
So the fee is construction administration.
Well, the fee is for working with us to figure out what we want,
Yeah.
coming up with the schematics, coming up with the design, and then administering the project.
But, you know, walls and nails and wood.
Yeah,
and
like all in,
construction is,
431 all in?
Yeah, to get us through, well, it's not gonna cover furniture and that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's
So
their
when you-
services.
Okay, so when you budgeted
Yeah.
500, was that,
That was for this service, for their design services.
okay, so not counting
Correct.
furniture and all this, okay.
okay,
Okay.
and
If
not
any walls have to be moved, that's a separate cost, if something like that comes up.
construction
Yeah.
itself
I mean,
is extra.
keep in mind that we hope to do this project with minimal
Mm.
construction.
Yeah.
Again, just like the commons, moving some things around and
Yeah.
getting new furniture.
And we also thought that they were very responsive to understanding that we weren't looking for a construction project, we were looking for design and using fixtures and spaces to create that.
In the interviews, I really felt a distinction between those who wanted to do a lot of architecture and those who wanted to do interior design to meet our goals.
Yes.
And I would guess in the end, the interior design approach is going to be a more cost-effective and less
Yes.
disruptive one.
Absolutely.
I'll also point out that in the proposal analysis for the companies that we did not interview, where there's budget included, most of those do not include the construction administration portion, the overseeing all the actual work getting done, and some of them don't even include the final design documents.
Right.
So there was a wide range of pricing in this one.
Really was a wide range, yeah.
Did you have a question?
I was just wondering, when Geraldine Drake leaves, did she indicate who would be replacing her? Did you want to take some time to find out who that is and meet with that person to see how that relationship would be? Is
I
that
don't know if they
worthwhile
even
doing?
know, I don't know if they even know.
Sounds like it'll be a
exactly.
floating team.
I feel that since we have such a strong runner-up in C2AE, I don't feel the need to do that.
I guess I feel that I'm glad that they told us.
So,
But she knew ahead of time. I think that's the thing that bothered me when I heard, because Geraldine has worked with us, and you just don't
Yes.
say on a Tuesday, you've interviewed on Monday, and on Tuesday you decide to retire. So I just think that because of our strong relationship with her, it would have been nice to have known that, but maybe her hands were tied. I'm going to say her hands were
Yeah.
probably tied and was not able to say it, but knowing that she is, I mean, you look around and you see her mark and her, even deciding the chairs, and we decided the chairs for the community room. It was her idea to put the votes on there, so
Yeah,
she was
exactly.
quite brilliant, so in that sense.
let me just say that we are gonna want to ensure that Reed Walker is connected to this from start to finish,
Yes, definitely, yeah,
because they're not in-house with them,
correct,
right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
they were pretty specific about the partnership was
They were.
And
there because
and
of
have
this.
they also done other projects together?
Oh, that's a good question, I think,
I believe they knew one another from years being in the same
like a
same
professional
businesses,
association.
professional association, exactly, so kind of parallel careers, but I think first time working with one another specific to a partnership.
Can you remind me who Reed Walker is again?
Oh, that's the
Jenna.
yeah, that's who Jenna works with for.
Oh, okay.
Well, her name is Jenna Walker, and I don't know if you remember that, we had hired her, she was with Yellowstone.
Yeah, I
She did
remember
that.
this
Do you remember
stuff
she
then,
came and
yeah.
spoke to us and
I do
did
remember
that?
She
that.
did the plan.
So
Yes.
Reed Walker is her sole proprietorship
Okay,
that she has established for herself.
okay.
And so Reed Walker is now a subcontractor of C2AE for purposes of this project.
Got it, thank you.
I think it's a really great partnership. Jenna brings this depth of knowledge after having conducted all that research here at this library. And C2AE brings a lot of public library experience.
Sure.
And they even presented at last fall's MLA conference on this very topic.
Sure.
Creating the proposal, doing the walkthroughs, and working with architects and designers.
And C2AE has a depth of resources that they can offer as well. You know, they have architects. They had there were 4 people that came to the interview: Jenna, Chloe, an architect, and a project manager. So they have a lot of.
So is there an amended
Yeah, so there's a proposal on, Joe, I'm gonna have you read that if you don't mind. Oh, you've got it right here, it's gonna be handed to you. Since you were part of this project, and thank you for being able to attend those talks.
It was my pleasure. I move to approve awarding the library design and space planning bid to C2AE, address 10511 Citation Drive, Suite 200, Brighton, Michigan, 48116.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? If not, a vote please, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, that's your right, yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Okay, thank you very much, and yes, tell
So-
Geraldine we wish her well in her retirement.
So they'll be kind of off and running now?
Yeah, probably our schedule will be we'll have to coordinate schedules. Get something.
They say 24 to 36 months.
24 to 36, I see that here, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I think the beginning part is gonna be a kickoff for deciding the timeline and the project scope and whatnot, but
Yeah, what I'd like to do is establish a core team of myself and Catherine, perhaps Lauren and Brooke, and then 1 or 2 trustees. So if anybody has an interest in, okay, great.
I think you might find there are a lot of us who would.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, it's we have our building and grounds committee meeting, which obviously there will be updates that will happen there, and probably at regular board meetings. If I have 1 or 2 trustees, it's much more nimble.
Sure,
Yeah, we might
sure.
call this a subcommittee.
Yeah. It would be nice, as I mentioned in the meeting earlier, I did make a lot of notes, and I'll try to unearth when she presented, Jenna. Because there were things that my eyes were going back in the back of my head on some of them, and then there were some that I really agreed with, so, and it's her point of view, of course, so it just has to work best for the library and for the population we serve. So, maybe if you could find those and just send those out again to us, what she created, or is she gonna start from scratch again?
No, I'm assuming she will use that pre-design and research report
Yeah.
as.
If you could find that and send it out, that'd be
Sure.
great.
Now, I have were we supposed to return those booklets? I
No.
have mine.
I think I have mine.
I don't know where mine
I
are.
have mine. Keith, did you get one of
I
those?
did, I had
You
it
did?
still,
Okay.
yes,
Oh, you guys are good, I don't know
I'll,
where mine is,
I'll
I mean, I
look
need to
for
go
it.
back and
so it might just be me.
Okay.
I can send it out to everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually, I don't, right, mine isn't digital, so I'd love to have a
Yeah.
digital copy
Right,
of it.
yeah,
I
I'd
have
like a digital copy also,
Yeah.
thank you.
Can I just make a statement about why I voted no?
Yeah.
I just don't think that something that is more than twice as expensive justifies the reasoning that was given for choosing, because there's no reason to think that AECom can't still do a good job, even though the person that you wanted to work with is not gonna be there. So it seems to me just a little bit of an extravagance to go to this other one that's twice as expensive. That's the way I'm seeing it, without doing further research, or like you just indicated to me, you don't think it's worth seeing who they would have assigned to it. I realize that you had the 500,000 in the budget, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should use it, so. I just want that in the record.
Those are all valid points, for
Yeah.
sure, absolutely.
I mean,
Not that
Gerald,
it seems to have made much difference, but that's
I
fine.
mean, just a comment, I mean, Geraldine, as I see that team and you know, you were there, Joy, to go through all this analysis. Geraldine is a library expert.
Mhm.
And so we
You're thinking
would,
that there's nobody else there that could have replaced her? Nobody else is an
oh,
expert?
and possibly, I mean,
They don't do library projects per se.
I see.
They do bigger projects because of their global presence,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
there's a million ways you could look at it. Great that they bring that expertise, but the library is here, their library business is here, and then the rest of their business is here. Geraldine was
So you're
primarily
thinking
their
that
library
they
business.
wouldn't have quoted maybe if she hadn't been there?
I believe that.
Possibly.
Oh, okay, I can understand that then.
All of the library project examples provided in their proposal
Yeah.
were done by Geraldine at previous firms.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay.
And
That's
I think you
interesting.
guys made a point to get in touch with her too, that you were going to let her know about it, so I remember it.
Okay.
All right, any other comments or questions? If not, we're going to now turn it back to the discussion of trustee committee, and there will be a motion on page 65 when that discussion is over. And Tara, I'm gonna let you lead that bandwagon again.
Yeah, all right, well, Shane and I met last week or the week before, who knows, what is time, to kind of orient him on his new role as president. And we talked about committee assignments, which was one of the first things that need to happen. Since he's not here tonight, he agreed that I could lead this discussion on the committee assignments. The committee assignments have been the same for the last 2 years, so it's time to switch it up a little bit. And I made some suggestions for things that I saw that could be changed. And Shane supported those, and then I kind of switched some things up. So this is what I'm presenting to you today. So of the committees, I am proposing eliminating the Bloomfield Township Liaison Committee. I have never seen that committee do anything ever in the 10 years that I've worked
Was-
here.
A lazy committee.
Well, just
There was, nothing came
no
out.
need, yeah.
I think someone attended meetings once, not here, the person who was from our committee went to a couple meetings.
Okay,
And that's what they
township.
did,
That
yeah, and
makes
then they would
sense.
come back and report if there was anything pertinent to us, so,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
But that was when it was very contentious, and I think the reason we stopped is one of the meetings was like 4 hours.
Yeah, your meetings go for a
yeah,
long
and
time.
so
And now you can watch them on YouTube.
Right, it was
and you
very
can see the
unfair
summary.
for, yeah.
I'm suggesting combining the development committee with the advocacy committee, and honestly, a Bloomfield Township liaison could be under an advocacy committee. The development committee has always had the charge of raising money. We are in a very sound financial position. We do not need to be raising outside funds at this time. The development committee had become a vehicle to plan events, big events for the community and invite the community into the library. If we're gonna be working on our building for the next couple of years, we might not have some opportunities for parties like that. So it just made sense to me to combine those two committees that could work together to fundraise however they saw fit. And I thought that Judy and Danny would be good fits for that. There's a finance committee and an investment committee. Way back in the past, those two used to be combined. And I think it was when we went out for an investment services RFP and there was some changes happening in that round that we split those two things out, or we split them apart. It seems like they could be combined now. Shane has an interest in staying on that committee, and Keith, we felt that you would be a good fit for that committee. Okay. Of course, we're gonna keep the Myers Scholarship Committee, and Joy, since you are on in some other places, I thought we would add Danny to that committee, and Joan Luxick can stay.
Okay.
Joy, I suggested putting you on the policy committee, and taking Judy off, and Shane indicated that he wanted to stay on that committee. And then there's the committee that reviews the 3 contracts we have with other libraries, Detroit Public Library, Troy Public Library, and Cranbrook. Those contracts are up this year, so I think that committee right now is Joy and Keith. And so there will be some work to do this year on that committee. Joy has served as the liaison to the Friends Board for the last year, but has it been 2 years?
2 years.
Oh, okay, 2 years. She's willing to share that opportunity, and Keith indicated that he would be interested in that role.
Yeah, I can do it, unless anybody else wants to do it, I'm happy to take it on.
I'd love to have you.
Thank you, Kate.
And
I could be your backup if you can't.
Okay.
Make the meeting.
Okay,
That's great.
thank you.
And I'm happy to as well.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
Do the meetings have to be attended in person or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They-
They don't,
They might
Zoom.
start though, because they moved their meetings to this room, and they said one of the reasons was so that they could have some people join. So you might be able to
Oh,
actually.
I missed that.
You did miss that, sorry.
Does that change your attitude? Maybe you wanna continue?
Well, part of it was that I wasn't always in town, but the fact that they now sync up date-wise to the same week, usually that we have these meetings, it's really helpful. But that was part of it, yeah.
So,
I'm good.
you're good,
It's,
okay.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
good to
rotation.
move it
Okay.
around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so they are having it now the day after our meeting.
It's now the 3rd Wednesday of the month, which
Yes.
most of the time is the day after, but like this month it was not, it was last week.
Okay,
This was the 3rd Wednesday.
okay. Yeah, that's helpful in planning
Yeah, it
trips,
definitely is.
vacations.
Yeah.
And whatever.
All right,
Okay,
Well,
that's
then,
fine. I
that's-
don't wanna step on anybody's toes, but you're okay with that, so. Okay.
a change will be good, right?
Yeah.
All right, well then
I don't actually see a motion, it was just
I
a
don't
discussion,
see-
we don't have
yeah.
a motion, we don't have an action on that, so.
I guess we don't.
So
we don't.
you'll create a new, cause you indicate, you've got the 24, 25, so we need to get a new 25, 26. Oh, you've got that with the yellow
Yep,
marks, okay,
Second,
But I'll-
second document.
I'll clean it up and send it out to you
Yeah.
all with these changes.
sounds good.
So Joan and Judy still on art committee, Danny and Judy on advocacy and development. Everybody's on building and grounds. Keith and Joy on the Cranbrook DPL Troy committee. Keith and Shane on finance and investment. Keith will be the Friends of the Library liaison. The Meyer Scholarship will be Joan and Danny. Personnel will remain Joan and Judy. Unless somebody, I don't know if you wanna make a change there, but you've already started the
Yeah,
process for the year.
discussion for that.
And policy will be Joy and Shane.
Good.
All right, great.
All right, moving right along here, we do have a few items removed from the consent agenda, and we'll start with Joy, who had 7A.
Yes, I did. Under general fund, regular checks, question about Civic Plus LLC in the amount of $54.18 for Moncito Web Accessibility Software.
It's software we use
It's
that
page 12.
does an audit of our website to make sure that it's meeting ADA compliance.
Okay, accessibility, gotcha.
Yep.
And then right under it, a few down, the check to Centennial Technologies for various network and IT licenses.
Might be the next page.
Yes.
No, it's the same page.
Okay,
Page 13.
Okay.
Sentinel Technologies.
No, with a
Yeah.
S. Sentinel Technologies.
midway under general fund.
Are you asking me to tell you what the license is?
Well,
Because I don't know.
okay, all right, it's one of those that, yeah, okay, supports that. And then the next page down, under the general fund, advanced checks, FIS lockdown operations for $3,000.
So we have a Pitney Bowes mail metering machine that uses a deposit account, and we put money in the deposit account. They have a special deposit account with this name if you want expedited service. And so, I know, so that's why
That's a weird name.
I know, it is a weird name.
Okay, so maybe we've talked about it before, it didn't sound familiar.
Well, it's weird, lockdown, not like, what is that?
And then the next page, the Flying Locksmith, I know they've done a lot of that work, that 123, is that for the
Yeah,
the
down payment,
all
yeah.
the, okay.
Part of it was the licensing involved with these cameras. That was, I wanna say, like a third of that was the licensing. It's like 50,000 for that. So, yeah, it's expensive.
It is, but it's a huge job
Sure.
too, so
Do you have any more, Joy?
I believe that is it.
Danny, you had?
Yeah, I was just curious about why you called out both the consumers and the DTE.
I always do.
Do you
Yeah.
always? Because these are like normal.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean here?
Yeah,
yeah,
okay, because they're
But-
normal amounts.
yeah.
Typical amounts. My other question was about payments made to Marty for library shop inventory.
So Marty buys the inventory for the library shop and she uses her own money and then gets reimbursed. There's a higher amount than usual here because she had lost track of a check and had to be reissued another one. So
Okay.
it was a big amount.
Okay, those were my only questions.
Okay. Joan?
Okay, one of my questions was that FIS lockdown, but there was a charge for Pitney Bowes. Is that our normal mailing or did we need a new machine?
That was for toner in the mail metering machine.
Oh, okay.
It's inexpensive.
Okay.
So small.
Okay.
I can't believe you remember that though. You know, that's
There's much
Pretty
talking about these things.
Pretty good. How much was it? I can't find it here.
That one was like
182,
180 something.
Oh, gotcha.
What is Monsito Web Accessibility Software?
It's software that scans our website to make sure that it's ADA compliant.
You probably told us that before.
and is it ever really fully compliant?
Actually, now I think it's as close to 100% compliant as it's ever been.
Okay, for a website, okay.
What does that mean to be ADA compliant for software?
Not software, it's for our website. So here's one example is that every picture you put on a website, every graphic has to have alternative text. So that if a person who is visually impaired is looking at a website using a screen reader, it will pass over it and say like, a picture of a man in a black shirt.
Oh, okay.
So it scans our whole website and makes sure that all these different aspects of making sure our website is usable by everybody are compliant.
Okay, thanks for explaining that, that I didn't know.
Okay, and that was, the Vigilante security, is that connected to the video project?
No, that's our burglar alarm.
Oh,
That's
okay.
always on there too, every month.
It is, okay. I guess I missed it the other times.
Interesting
And
names.
then on 7B, I think I asked you about this before, that the Charnoff gift is maturing, and so did you say we were just going to reinvest
I will
that?
probably just roll that over, yeah.
Okay,
Reinvest it, yeah.
we don't have any plans for that right now.
Not right now.
Okay, okay,
Is that it, Joan?
thank you.
Okay, could I then, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
So with the check disbursements comments that I make, is this useful to you all?
Yes.
It seems like it is, because Shane is always asking about it, so this does seem to be one of the more useful parts of the deck.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you asking me because it takes a lot of time?
No, I don't mind doing it. This is how I know everything so well because I
Yes.
do this work.
Yes.
But Shane had indicated that it's a lot to read and that maybe it is too much work. I'll tell you my
Shane said
parameters.
that?
Shane said that.
Okay.
Anytime there's a check written to an individual
Joy, it's
person.
2025, maybe it was his New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a check written to an individual person, whether it's a patron or a staff, I call those out.
Yeah.
I try to use a mark of 5,000, so anything over 5,000 that's out of the ordinary, like Baker and Taylor, I'm not gonna call them out every time. I call that out. Anything that's just a little odd, like FIS lockdown operations, I call that out. I always put DTE and consumers. The board traditionally has always been really interested in utilities, but there's 3 whole pages devoted to those charts and graphs. So I always include that. And then anything that I think is gonna be unusual or that you all will be,
Well, now I'm sorry to say that I looked completely past the FIS lockdown operations call out. I could have read that. So what I was gonna say is that I think it's very helpful.
Okay, as long as you think it's helpful,
Yes.
I will continue to do it.
Actually, I think
Sorry.
that it helps us to be good fiduciaries.
Yeah, good stewards.
Exactly.
And you may have noticed, or maybe you didn't, on the check register, that we have this month, there's multiple checks written to Midwest Tape, multiple checks written to Baker and Taylor. Normally those are bundled onto one check. That's a function of the contract accountant who just wasn't familiar. I mean, like I said, I shoved a bunch of paper at her, was like, write checks.
I mean,
So
if
she just obliged.
bills got paid,
Bills got paid.
so.
Payroll and everything.
Catherine's doing payroll actually. She's doing a great job. I learned a new thing.
Great.
Okay,
So far, so good. Everyone's getting paid.
Yay.
well, that's what counts.
So could I have then a motion to approve the items that were removed from the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Thank you, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. My favorite part, the other, I'm gonna go first. We have our director's evaluation, closed meeting session at our next meeting, which is in February 18th. And in the past, Joan and I have collected those, evaluations from you, and then I've extrapolated some of the more important information so that you have an idea of how everyone is thinking when we decide if what we're going to be doing in that meeting. So, our meeting is the 18th, and so I need about a week. So if you could make sure that it's in our hands, send it both to Joan and to me. You can either send it to our own email address, or to be proper, you should be sending it through this, but if you could send it to both, mine and this, our library address as well, that would be great.
Isn't there something that we get to start that process that gets sent to
Did
us?
we get that sent already?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it didn't go out?
I sent it to you two, and I
Oh,
thought
did
you
you
were
send it out?
Oh.
No, we have not received that.
Oh my gosh, that's my fault
Also,
then. I'll send that out to
Did you
you.
have a self-eval?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's
Sorry, I
what
sent
I
it to you guys.
No,
and
I
did
did
it.
it to everyone, sorry.
and it's 2 parts, right?
So there was an evaluation of, yes,
Right,
I
so
thought
you're-
everyone
Yeah, I
was.
basically use the form you use and fill out my comments.
Right, so
I'll send that
That
out to
has
you guys
not-
tonight.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
my
thank
fault, I
you.
thought it went to everyone, so
Okay, thank you.
so you'll
Okay,
get
So
that
did
tonight.
I,
Okay.
actually. Okay.
And you want that back?
yeah, when did you
Say
do that?
Oh, I'm
again?
sorry, get the calendar again. I would like it back the Tuesday before the 18th, I think that's the 11th.
Okay, thank you.
So that should give you a couple of weeks to do it, and my apologies, that was just a misunderstanding. So yes, if you could get it in our hands by Tuesday the 11th, February Tuesday the 11th, that would be great.
enough time?
Oh yeah, that's just, then I'll extrapolate it during that week, I've got a full week. So, and then you'll get that over the weekend for you to review, cause that doesn't go in this board packet. You'll get that to review, and then we will go into closed door session and then bring the meeting back to start it, and that will be at our February meeting. Is there any other you'd like to bring up? Was there a friend's report?
Yes,
Joy?
just under $6,000 from the Saturday sale, and everybody was feeling like, wah. Except, it's a record January, and it was also really bad weather. So, when we all really thought about it, it was really great news.
Good.
Yes.
And the other thing that is just incredible and phenomenal, they sent out and donated 567 boxes
Boxes.
of books over the course of 2024 around the community. And when I say around the community, it could be next door, it could be Pontiac, it could be Dearborn,
And they
it could
deliver
be
those too?
Benton Harbor, it could be Africa. It's
Could be
incredible.
Toronto, yeah.
Yes, they deliver them.
They have
They
a
live
network
on
of people that they work with and delivery people and
Gosh.
The other thing is that a number of folks wanted to thank you for the gift cards
Oh.
for the staff. They just thought that was a really lovely gesture.
Oh, good. They get it. I received a great card. It was so cute. Huge. Good. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
That's it.
Oh, is that, I'm sorry.
That's it.
There was something in the comments about getting to the free book cart.
Oh, yeah, I
And
hoped that maybe that was
what-
friends.
Are these the leftovers from the book sale? What are these?
The Friends have a cart of books that they are giving away for free.
Yeah.
And they have one patron in particular who will take his pick of them. And he tells them he boxes them up to send them to Africa. And there's another patron who is annoyed by this and wants some left for other people to
Oh.
peruse.
Oh, I see.
So they're
Working that
They're-
out.
Did you pass that
I
message
pass that along
your
to
friend?
the friends to address if they so wish. And
Okay.
and it's up to them if they limit the number of free books that any one person can take.
Oh.
So I'm not sure what they've decided to do with that.
Shipping is very expensive, so.
Yeah, especially books.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
So true.
Trying not to provide the commentary.
Is there any other? I just have one comment. When it's not so cold and the snow is removed from the 4 big urns, they should just clip the dead branches because it's frozen.
I
It's
know.
frozen, but it's
I
It's
noticed
dead.
that a couple
Dead.
weeks ago.
So anyway, but I'm glad and congratulations to Tom. I think he's a great guy, so I'm
Yes.
thrilled about that.
Yeah.
With that said, then my apologies again regarding the director's evaluation. It was just a misunderstanding. You'll get that today or tomorrow. Work on it, get it to both Joan and yours truly by the 11th. Our next meeting is Tuesday, February 18th, and I believe Shane hopefully will be in town. If not, I'll be here, but if he is, then he will reside over this wonderful committee. So thank you, Laura, thank you, congratulations, and thank you so much for serving in SOC.
Yes.
I like those earrings too, that wasn't part of the sale, was it?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
They're really cute. Oh, sorry, the meeting's adjourned after we done.